Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this channel update here on Rumble. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, you can find the wonderful Janine here at tarotbyjanine.com. Why is that there? We don't have an issue. Do we have an issue, Janine? No. tarotbyjanine.com and also on beyondmystic.academy. Janine, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hi, Jean-Claude. I'm good. How are you doing? How's everybody doing?
I'm good. It's been a tough little ride here in the last couple of weeks. We're all dealing with personal stuff going on in our lives. We're all dealing with this world that seems to be crumbling around us, and we're doing our best with the schedule. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here on the live Rumble show. We wanted to share with you guys a few updates as per the schedule here. There's a couple of changes this week. We wanted to bring you up to speed on our production schedule and our ability to get back on the horse here, so to speak, with the production schedule. We also wanted to maybe set the record straight here with a little bit of a misunderstanding. We'll do that. And we're also going to be talking about the show that we will be producing later tonight on our pay-per-view. And to add to the topic list here for tonight, of course, we have the election fallout, the announcement by Trump, the Bush and Obama disinfo campaign that's starting right after the Trump announcement here in the next couple of days. This idea here of this missile hitting Poland and perhaps being the start to World War III, the whole FTX scandal, and the introduction here or the road here to the new CBDCs. Here are some G20 meetings amid reports of serious health concerns. So that's going to be one heck of a show for you guys at 8 o'clock here tonight. So as we're alluding to that, guys, the schedule for this week, so far as we have it, Janine and I will be live tonight on our pay-per-view as opposed to yesterday night. Okay, so that's the first change there. And also, we're going to be doing this Divine Feminine Oracle show at 7 p.m. instead of the 8 p.m. time slot to accommodate the fact that we're doing the 8 p.m. tonight with Janine on pay-per-view. So if you guys were interested in the show, just remember now we've pushed it forward to 7 p.m. tonight. Now, the plan is also to have another pay-per-view show Wednesday night. That's our normal pay-per-view schedule show, Janine and I. And then we'll be back here on Rumble for the free uncensored Rumble show Thursday at 4 p.m. And there's a Jim Willie episode in there. There's something else I'm working on, but I don't have all the details. But hopefully that makes sense to all of you guys here. We're getting back on track with all of this. Janine, first of all, thank you for being here. I'm happy that you're back home. I know the last week was difficult here, last-minute travels, having to deal with personal family members. Let's chat about that a little bit here. You had posted something in your Tarot by Janine community last week and also on Telegram. And quickly, some people may have misinterpreted your words, and we're dealing with a funnier situation today where we have to explain a little bit what's going on here. So how do you want to address that, Janine? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I wrote something today. If you've been to the channel yet, in the community section, I just explained that I was visiting my beautiful brother, and he is passing, but he has not actually passed. So a lot of people believed that he'd passed, and I just wanted everybody to know he's in the process. And passing takes time, just like birthing, deathing takes time. And it could have been the words I was using, but I'm very sorry if people misinterpreted what I was saying. He is in the process of leaving us. And I was at a living wake, which actually we did that for my sister as well. And Jerry really loved that we did a living wake for my sister before she passed. So he wanted to have that as well. He's accepted his leaving and is not open to, no matter how many people send me incredible potential cures. And I'm very thankful for all of that beautiful energy, by the way, and all the love everybody's sending. But we have to honor his wishes, which are he's accepted his leaving and is daily losing function and is not willing to be with us any longer in that condition, basically. Mm-hmm. And he's making his own decisions about how he's leaving. But I was fortunate enough, I got the heads up that I could go and spend actual quality time with him. And my sister came with me, and we have a big family, but the two of us went to represent kind of people from Alberta and British Columbia. We went to represent because Haida Gwaii is really hard to get to and it's far away. It was actually very difficult to get to and difficult to get home, but
Right,
so
exactly.
worth the trip. And I just really wanted to say I love all you guys and I so appreciate all your love and concern. But just to set the record straight, he's still with us. And, but he is in the process of leaving us. And that's where it might have got misconstrued. So just so everybody knows where we're sitting there.
Now, at the time of the recording of my special update yesterday on YouTube, I had mentioned that Janine was dealing with the death of her brother, and at that time, I did not know yet if he had indeed actually passed. So I did say dealing with the death in terms of the process itself, and I'm sorry if that misled anybody into the conversation. But as Janine is saying here, we're still on that track. So we appreciate everybody, and I know. Somebody says here in the Rumble channel that JC had said I had passed. I don't think I said those words. I think I said dealing with his death. At any rate, Janine, I have a picture that you sent me. You're waving. Do you want me to share this with the audience here today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother has a great sense of humor. And that's his wave to the family in a group chat. Because a lot of family members are not going to make it, obviously, to see him.
Right.
But yeah, he's one of the most fun. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's so much fun. He loves to have fun. So he's having a little fun with the family there. But I know he wouldn't mind one bit to share that. I know what he's like.
Okay. As you can see, guys, this is what I was explaining the other day. We're all going through personally and collectively these emotions and the stress and the trauma of dealing with people around us and in our families. Now, in some cases, it's perfectly natural as part of the life-death cycle. And in some other cases, it's being preempted perhaps by some of our friends and families who may not have made the right decisions over the last 2 years as it pertains to the products that are being offered. And so Janine and I had mentioned a couple of months ago that from what we could see in the cards, this was going to be a developing trend of moving forward, and none of us are going to escape this. And we appreciate that you guys are all with us and sharing your support as we are here for the rest of the community as well. So Janine, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate that. And I know it's difficult, and I got a little bit emotional on the update show yesterday as well, because when my friends are emotional, I get emotional. But me too. I'm dealing with stuff here in our family that is similar to all of this, and I see the writing on the wall for a lot of them, and it's just the way it is. So, tonight's show, Janine. Well, first of all, is there some? Can we? Okay, let's backtrack a little bit here. I think the audience would be interested to know, perhaps. Can we do a poll on his passing? And I know that you spoke to him specifically. I know that your brother Jerry wants to share his love of life with humans. But is there a specific message that you want to share for him on your behalf with your own words? And do you also maybe want to pull some cards on what perhaps the universe wants to share back with Jerry and how we can connect that with the audience here today? Let's do that.
Well, I did mention all the love he's getting in our community, and he doesn't really understand everything we understand, or he's not as open as we are about a lot of things that are happening, at least not right now. But he's a very spiritual fellow, and he was very touched by how much energy he was getting. Right. So I shared with him some of the comments, and it was very touching for him, I'm thinking. And he's a very brave person and has really, really thought about spiritually the journey that he's making, and in his own way is absolutely ready. So that much I can share. But I'll just see what the universe wants to say on the behalf of the whole situation and just see.
Okay. Very good.
So in his own way, he's incredibly sovereign. He's a very sovereign fellow. Yeah. Doesn't really care much for the government like a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also taught he has two beautiful sons, and his fatherhood is his legacy, and his relationship with his partner, which is incredible, and also his relationship with his sons. So that's showing up here in the cards, and how independent he taught his boys to be. They hunt, fish, and Jerry supplied many people, in particular moms. So he knows lots and lots of people in the Haida Gwaii, but in particular, if there was a mom with kids who didn't have a partner providing fish and deer, Jerry would fill their freezers. He's really well known for that, literally keeping many women's freezers full of fish and deer. So he would catch it himself, and he would bring his sons and taught them to literally live off the land. And he mushroom picks, and like a lot of what they actually consume is from the land.
Wow.
So his whole family was taught in those, like they live off the grid. And they're really good at it. And he taught his sons to be. So I think that's what that's saying too, was a big accomplishment of his, to teach. Now there's 2 young men in the world who can do that, and they can lead their own families into that. And I think a lot of us are going to need to learn those skills, right? He also built a cabin on an island. So he has a place that he bought on the Haida Gwaii, but then on a tiny island within the islands of the Haida Gwaii, he actually built his own cabin. So he knows how to build, he built his own home from scratch, and feeds his whole family, or has fed his whole family from the land. Right. So those things are very special about him. So the universe is pleased with them for that, I think. And I think all of us need to learn to get back to some of that. I think that's a big lesson for us, really.
Yeah.
Looks like there's a message here that's saying not to stress. So this card stresses unnecessarily, and not to be sad about passing. I did get that too when I was with him. I mean, as much as it's a sad thing, he was also looking forward to the journey of it and the spiritual transition of it. And I feel like this is saying not to stay only in the sad parts, but to see the mystical journey of it.
Right.
He was talking about coming back as, being in nature, and hoping that he came back as part of the nature in this next life. So he's already looking forward to other ways of being here.
Yeah.
And supporting the world, even supporting the nature and trees with his own physical being. So he didn't want to be cremated. He wanted to be in the ground so he could, support the ecosystem that way.
Yeah, give back to nature. Wow, fascinating. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Janine, a White Buffalo woman is saying, hi, JC, can we send you donations to buy flowers for Janine's brother? How do you want to handle that? Do you want to take, if people want to give, do you want to send them to a specific cause? Do you want to send them to your PayPal? Like, what's the best way to help Janine, for those who want to here?
Yeah, let me think about that. And maybe we can get back this evening with that. I'll run it by the family and see.
Or best way also, we'll leave it to the Thursday live Rumble show. That way we'll reach the biggest audience, and they can follow up with us then. Okay, well, thank you, White Buffalo Women. I appreciate that. We'll think of something there, and we'll share that with you guys. Very nice. And and please don't do it here in the sense of the Rumble chats. Of course, a big chunk of that goes to Rumble, as on YouTube with the super chats. So if we're going to do something, we'll ask Janine to set that up for you guys. Thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. Sending love to your brother, Mokada. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Janine, I wanted to ask you a question as you were talking, and I'm not sure if it's appropriate or not. So if you don't want to get into the subject matter, please just do tell me. But it feels to me that we were up on schedule last week, and very quickly it felt like you had to change your schedule and to deal with this. Was this new to you, or was the time frame of it new to you last week? Like, how did this all transpire where all of a sudden you had to jump here and make all of these hoops to the Haida Gwaii? What happened?
Yeah, so I heard from a really dear friend who's very close to Jerry and the family that things were changing really fast, which is often the case apparently with different cancers. And things just went downhill like remarkably fast. And
Okay.
weight loss and ability to walk and all of a sudden things were changing really fast. And she got the distinct impression that this was going to be a fast moving situation compared to me thinking, oh, I might go there at Christmas and spend a little time. She was like, I don't know if he'll be here at Christmas. So it felt like, and she's very intuitive. And once I actually got out there, and I also really respect her intuitive knowing. So I just heard that and dropped everything. And then sure enough, because people on the phone, how do you say things like that on the phone? It's really hard, and texting.
Right.
His partner was having trouble sort of relaying how fast things were happening. And yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me also, and that's why I was curious, and I know probably the audience members were curious too, because in one of your texts last week, you said to me, oh, JC, I've committed to all of these shows, but I have to do this for my brother. I'm like, no, Janine, you don't need to commit to any show. Go with your brother, priority number one. I know you work so hard and you're trying to be out there for the community, but family is important and it's priority number one. So I just wanted to say a big thank you. My heart is out to you and your family, Janine. And I hope the community here on Rumble also joins me in sending you that energy and letting you know that you're loved and that like we understand and we know how difficult this is and what the priorities are, and everything else can wait. Like everybody else can just wait and take a deep breath. I think somebody said that in my live show yesterday. Let's all take a deep breath here. So a big thank you to all you guys on Rumble. Okay, Janine, before we close on that topic, anything else you want to share? Is there anything else that's coming up to mind now or that you wanted to talk about before we change the subject matter here for the show today?
No, I think that's that covers it.
And
okay. Just another really big thank you for all the love and support. And it's really been helpful to read all the comments and read all the emails.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I was emotional just reading the ones that people are sending me to send you. I was like, ooh, okay. There's a lot there, Janine. There's a lot of chat. Okay. So guys, let me go back to the poster for tonight's episode. I don't want to get into details here too much. We are going to be live here at 8:00 later tonight. We might have more news on this. It seems to me that we're hitting a crescendo between the missiles hitting Poland, maybe a start of World War III, between Trump having scheduled a speech for tonight at 9. The first poll on this and see if this is contrived, planned, part of this movie. What do the audience need to know here about today and perhaps the next couple of days here, as it appears to be very, very critical in time?
So, we're likely not looking at anywhere to remind people of that, but remember, right? And we've got the Fool and the Ace, so they're just carrying on with littering around, making quite a fool of himself, actually. And it looks like they're kind of paving the way for some kind of re-entrance on Trump's part. That's what these cards look like. This is like a new sort of gateway opportunity kind of card, and coming through a gateway, kind of a triumphant one. And this is my Trump card. So that's interesting. So it feels like there might be finally, because we know they've made all kinds of deals in the background. It might be time for the stepping up of Trump again. And, we've all been waiting around for that. That's something that I believe, if anything's real about any of this, that needs to happen, I think. And that's what it kind of feels like in these cards. And this is in the past. So something we've been waiting for and that's been on hold for quite a while is coming. And it involves Trump and maybe a new platform for him, a new way of seeing him, a new way of him presenting himself in the public.
Right. Well, odds are, and some of the online social media, that tonight's speech or announcement is just going to be to the fact that he's running in 2024. Now, there might be that, but my inkling is there is probably a plan B on the script, on the teleprompter, also loaded for tonight. And depending on how things go here, I mean, the GOP is at 217 seats right now in the House. They need 218 for majority. And on the Senate race, they're almost there as well. So that's interesting to me that we might be flipping here both the House and the Senate, even though a lot of these races are still contested. The remote viewers are saying perhaps some have already been stolen and people are going to get caught red-handed. I don't know yet, but that seems to be all interested. So I want you to pull some cards, Janine, going back to what perhaps could be loaded on the teleprompter for Trump here tonight, regardless of the run in 2024. What else could be there to maybe prompt the fact that Bush and Obama here in the next 2 days are also going to be in the limelight in a big way, perhaps either contradicting Trump or spreading disinformation about what Trump might have to say tonight. It seems to be very complicated. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does. It does look complicated. I think you're right about they're waiting to see something else that's happening, which might even be why they put it at 9 o'clock. So something else, they're waiting to hear something that'll determine what's said. And I feel like there could be several different, not just two, but maybe even four different versions of what he could say. So, wow, that's interesting. And you better believe those other guys coming right on the heels of it, are like, because this is my deep state card, right?
Mhm.
So coming right on the heels of it, are just ready for damage control. So we got damage control ready for depending, but something that could be really big on the agenda is something about the financial market. So that's interesting because this is a financial card and it's about maybe the financial market even.
Mhm.
So that could be one of the things, but I feel like there's several things like you said, and a lot of them are going to depend on other things going on in the world. So I guess there's a lot going on that we maybe aren't privy to right this minute, but could become really clear tonight, depending on which way it goes.
And if you guys look at this caricature on the side here, there seems to be a lot of connections and a lot of researchers are into this already. I'm going to have Jason for on Friday night looking into this, and I want to share this with you as well. If you haven't already seen this, if you go to roadtoruder.com, go check out this last interview between Bix, who's also investigating deeply here what's happening with the FTX scandal, and Cliff High. Absolutely fascinating episode. And maybe we can end on this. This is a special update video here, Janine, but Cliff was suggesting in this video, actually he had mentioned this a month ago, that on or about November 13, we were going to hit this emotional spike. Well, here we are with the FTX scandal right on cue, and that seems to be pulling from all of these other sources, the Federal Reserve, the printing of money, the Ponzi scheme, the pay for play, the money going to Ukraine and back into Democratic coffers, and it looks like this FTX things is at the middle of all of that. So that's interesting. Go check out that video. But what he's saying here in this new video is that the emotional value we had for November 13 will be eclipsed on or around, I think, December 13 to 15. So something absolutely humongous, which he had to change the chart values to be able to see the curve on the same chart here, is going to be hitting us on December 13 to 15, but he doesn't know what it is. He doesn't say necessarily that it's a fallout of FTX. It could be the death of a president. It could be election outcome, but something absolutely bigger than what we have now is coming up. Now, he did say that perhaps similar to Watergate, it took about a month for this to percolate into the general public. Whereas right now, to FTX, maybe 60-80% of people in crypto know about it, but the general public at large right now haven't really heard this story. But if there are connections between the Democrats, the Ponzi schemes, the Ukraine war, and the biolabs connected to this FTX thing, and if that comes out to light, then yes, that could be the biggest scandal of our times, and we could be sniffing that out in December. You just pull some cards there. What does it look like? What does the universe want to tell us about December per se here?
So it's something that's been going on for quite a while in the background, and it's about to surface. So everybody looks like they're doing damage control on something that's coming out. We've got the death card. I mean, the death card could even be, if you think about it, that could be the death of the Fed. We've been seeing that in real time, right? Like right in front of our eyes, right?
Yeah.
And then it could also hint towards the need for the military to take charge, because that's a military card.
Mm-hmm.
And this card saying something's gone too far, something's finally over, something that's been dying a long, slow death,
mm-hmm.
and is going to need some kind of step up, maybe by a different group, just to take charge of the situation. And this, to me, that could be military with that card.
Wow. Okay, well, going back to the financial stuff, just earlier today, also, you and I have been talking about this for months, how they're going to use some type of event to make people afraid of crypto and have people ask for more regulations. We're seeing it now with the FTX already. They're saying, oh, see, we told you crypto is bad. We need more regulations, and that this would pave the way to them introducing CBDCs. Well, lo and behold, this morning, this is on Zero Hedge, Janine, here comes programmable dollars. New York Fed and 12 banking giants launch digital dollar tests. So global banking giants are starting a 12-week digital dollar pilot with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The participants announced on Tuesday. So here we are. And it was funny because at the bottom of the news article, I just love the way they do this. But we're not committed to any future phases of the work. Of course you are. You haven't spent billions of dollars on propaganda just for the hell of it. But they have to put it out there. But don't worry, we're not actually going to do programmable money. So let's just do a last poll on this here. Is this FTX also planned by the cabal here? Maybe it's backfiring in their face. We'll get into more details tonight. But was that plan also to help them introduce their CBDC here and to try to maintain control over the population? Go ahead.
You bet. So that's a strategy card. So while you were talking, I was pulling cards. They've this very strategic, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it looks like it's not going to work. Too little, too late, or just everybody's onto them, maybe. Mm-hmm. I feel like they might have left it too long, or there's too much information out there now for this to work. It looks like it may fall flat on its face. So that's interesting. Wow. And I asked why. Too much truth out there about really what they're up to, maybe. So like this card, she's about truth and integrity. I think too many people are onto their schemes.
Mm-hmm. Well, Big Swear was alluding to that too. When all of these Ponzi's fail, nobody's going to trust anybody. And in normal times, we're not a very trusting people. But even in the last 2 years, we've discovered that everybody's lying to us. So for them to introduce anything from officialdom right now, they're probably at their weakest point in history in terms of garnering public opinion trust in any new initiative. So anyways, guys, go check it out, roadtotheruler.com. I'll try to have Bix on maybe also in the next couple of days, or maybe have him on the Wacky Woo as well with Joe and maybe Richard from Woo Woo Dude here on the Friday night show. So stay tuned for that. And again, not sure if we're going to do it on YouTube or Rumble. I'll be deciding that here in the next couple of days. Any last words of wisdom before we go here today? Janine, anything else you want to share? Do you want to pull cards? Is there anything from your heart you want to share with people? The microphone's yours, as always.
Well, maybe just a thought. So something changed. My mind's been changed recently. When I first heard of people taking their own leaving in their own hands, and even governments encouraging and allowing it, sort of thing. Because for many, many years, that wasn't really something you heard about too much, where somebody would have assisted leaving the earth plane. And I'm sure there's a better term for it, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it, and I'm just going to share this because I can't get it out of my mind. I'm thinking maybe it is an evolution of humanity. Maybe it's okay. Because for the longest time, I didn't think it was a good idea. I thought that you needed to leave it up to fate when you left, the hour, the minute. But if you think about it, we are stepping more and more into our personal powers and recognizing that we are soulfully in charge of a lot of parts of our destiny we never took charge of before. I learned over my whole lifetime that I've created almost everything that happened was co-created by me. That I am still co-creating, and as we speak and think. So why not decide when we're truly leaving here? Why not decide the moment? All of a sudden, I'm having a really a different feeling about that. So I don't know. I'm just going to throw it out there, and anybody's like, let's have a conversation about it. I'm not looking for advice per se. I'm just saying, or giving advice, certainly not. I'm just saying I'm thinking differently about it, because I think our whole world, we're having new ways of thinking about everything, and that includes what we can and can't be in charge of.
Okay, I have to add to that, and I didn't know you were going to go there, but
Yeah.
I was taught as a kid that suicide was the worst thing you can do. Like it was sacrilegious in a sense. And if I go back now and realize who was telling me that, well, the Catholic Church was telling me that. And so just like today, when the mainstream media is telling me something, I now have the opposite reaction. So now I have to apply that to all my religious indoctrination and try to realize why that is. And if the religions on this planet are part of this system of control of slavery on the planet, then it would make sense that it would tell all of its slaves, hey, don't leave the farm while we're still trying to extract energy from you. We decide when we're done extracting energy from you. So us having that and having the conversation about if and when we want to exit the farm is very interesting, because there's a lot of history and there seems to be evidence pointing to the fact that previous versions of humans did not want to play this game, and they left very abruptly. And so the masters of this planet tweaked our DNA so that we would not necessarily recognize that we were slaves, and that we would play the game longer, at least to the point of them extracting all of the benefits from those slaves. So you're right, Janine, this is a conversation that needs to be had, and I understand it could be triggering for a lot of people, but in the context of all of that, you're right to be thinking about this, and we're right to be at least challenging what we think we know, and also seeing where these information originated from the offset, and what those sources are today, and what we've discovered them to be today. So, wow. Okay. Food for thought, Janine. That's an incredible thought you just dumped on the audience there just before we go. I absolutely love you. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Let us know in the chat what you think about this debate.
Yeah.
Perhaps we'll do another show specifically on this. We might actually put it into an investigation show, go look at some of those evidentiary reports I'm talking about, add all that into a show, pull some cards, maybe look at the astrology and all of that too, and see where that ties in today. In this particular incarnation, and where we are in the evolutionary process of humanity. Yeah, you're exactly right about that, JC. I don't know that I'm exactly right, but I do have questions. Those are good questions to be challenging, of course. Okay, guys, this was the channel update here for the Rumble audience. Please do join us here tonight on pay-per-view at beyondmystic.net for the 8 o'clock Eastern show here with Janine. You see the topics on the list. It's going to be an absolutely hot show. Of course, if you're an Insider Access Mass member, you have front row seating to this already. And in the meantime, also, you can support Janine at tarotbyjanine.com and also here at the Academy at beyondmystic.academy. I love you guys. Thank you so much, Janine, for being here, and we'll see you again a little bit later on this evening. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
And please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a beat here on Rumble. All right. Take care, guys.